good idea. If you want to go back, it'll be under today's date, okay, that video. Okay, so what is it, February 5th, right? So convert 155 kilometers to miles. So all I would like you to show me here is that 1 mile has 1.6093 kilometers. You cancel kilometers, you get 96.32 miles. Okay, so that's what I would want to see. Of course, I want to see work, but also the final answer rounded to 2 decimals. And here's where when I mark, you might see R, that is rounding, that's a rounding error. So every time you see one of those, it's a half mark off, okay? If you see a U, then you're missing your units or the wrong units. And N is notation, okay? So what is notation? If you have too many equal signs and things are actually not equal to each other, that might be a notation error. Or you forget later on, we're going to work with equations, you forget your y equals, or you forget a little square, or something like that, then I look at notation. Okay, so every time you see one of those, half off. I will mark this down every time I see it. However, I'm not going to take more than 1 mark off per page for communication errors. These are called communication errors. You didn't communicate your answer properly. So let's say you have 1,000 of these on a page. I just take off 1 for that page. That's it. Because you're going to get the point. I don't believe in just keep on taking marks off, because now we're like, it shows like you don't know anything. That's not the point, right? The point is like you made a mistake, not a big deal, but now you know, okay? So 1 mark per page max. So I would encourage you to put that down every time you made a rounding error. Like if it's 3-1, that's what you wrote down, put an R next to it. That tells you you made a rounding error, okay? Sometimes I also use RE. That's just rounding early or rounding too soon, like you're rounding right away as you work through. Most of us don't have that issue because we're using these calculators, right? So keep that in mind. So run from those mistakes, right? And then you will be fine. I should also tell you, sometimes you'll see this one. This one right now doesn't apply. It's keys. Like there will be times where I'm going to ask you to show me some sort of sequence of buttons you've pressed to get to an answer. You'll see what I'm talking about later. Right now you don't need to worry about. But that's part of showing your work. So these are the most common ones, and then sometimes you'll see those, okay? So how do I mark this? Because it's just a one-step question, it's just 1 mark for getting this answer. That's it. There's nothing. If you did what I did earlier, let's say you went to 1.67093, I usually only take off half a mark because you still show me that you understand what's happening. You probably just copied it wrong, okay? So keep that in mind. 24 yards to centimeters. You go 24 yards. Did I give you yards to centimeters? Did I give you that conversion rate? What's that? It was on there? Okay, so my key is a little off. So 1 yard has, what is it, 9144 centimeters? So I did give you that. Okay, so that actually makes it easier. So you just cancel that, and it's really 24 times that. That gives you 2194.56 centimeters. I'm going to make this out of 1 as well. There was a time where I didn't give you this conversion rate. It made it a little bit more tedious, so I'm just going to say this is out of 1 as well. So there we go. Which is faster and by how much? This is going to be a bit controversial because some of you may have chosen one way over the other. So you either, let me see here if I have both. If you converted this to kilometers per hour, so 60 meters per second, and you proceeded to convert it.
Excuse the interruption, can I please get a custodian to the office, please.
You turned the meters to kilometers, and then you went 1 hour has 3,600 seconds. If you did this, right, you canceled out the seconds here with the seconds, so you're left with kilometers an hour. You multiply the top, you multiply the bottom, you get 200, ultimately you get 216 kilometers per hour, okay? If you converted either one to the other unit, you get a mark for that, okay? And so I will say that we'll break this down into A and B, right? I will say that car B, right? Car B or person B or whatever is faster. That gets you another mark, being consistent with that answer. By, now we need to figure out the difference, right? I have kilometers per hour, so that would be 34 kilometers per hour. That gets you another mark. So 1 mark for converting either one of them, and 1 mark for telling me which one is faster and by how much. That's how we're going to do this one. Did anybody convert kilometers per hour to meters per second? If you did, let me just do this quickly here. Kilometers per hour. Did anybody convert it that way? The other way? Well, I will show you here so you're not thinking. You will have 250 kilometers for 1 hour, and then you would want to convert, you would say 1 kilometer has 1,000 meters. You cancel that way. And then you know that 1 hour has 3,600 seconds. So you're doing the exact opposite as the other example here. So then you would have 250 times 1,000 divided by 3,600. So you get 69.44 meters per second. Okay. So if you got that, you would also get 1 mark, and you would still say that car B is faster by, and then we're going to subtract, right, 9.44 meters per second. Okay, so that's how your answer would be. Oops, sorry, give you a heart attack there. 1 mark for that, 1 mark for that. Okay, so overall you get 3 marks for that question. Maybe a little bit overkill, but that's okay. Okay. Now we're going to go yards per second, 2 kilometers per hour. So we know that, how are we going to go about this one? I went 1 yard, and you may have done this differently. Some of you, I can see, are going to go from yards to miles, and that's fine, okay? So yards, I used 9144 meters, and then I go 1 kilometer has 1,000 meters. Cancel that. So now my yards have been turned to kilometers. I still need to take care of the seconds here. So I know that 1 hour has 3,600 seconds. Cancel the seconds. So now all you're left with is kilometers and hours. You multiply that out. So you go 40 times 0.9144 times 3,600. That's 131,673.6 kilometers. And in the denominator, you just have 1,000. So basically just divide your answer by 1,000. So you have 131.67 kilometers per hour. It's almost like I planned this years ago. I knew it was going to be a trend, right? So that is your answer there. How are we going to grade this? How are we going to mark this? I will say this. I would want to see you going from yards to kilometers somehow. So I will give this part 1 mark. Then you also take care of the time. You're going from seconds to hours. Everybody should have that part. That's another mark. And then 1 mark for your correct final answer. If you went from yards to miles, then you would have probably gone, 1 mile has 1760, so 40 times it is going to be a different answer, right? If you went to miles, that's okay. It's not a problem. What is the answer if you went to miles and then kilometers? Is it close at least? Are we close? We're close, right? So it's okay. It's because technically this answer right here is rounded. Okay, so that's why we're going to be a little bit off, but we're going to just say, don't worry about it. You got the marks. Just show me the work, okay? So 2 marks. Oh, I made it out of 3, right? So get rid of this and just say it's out of 3 marks in total. So 1, 2, 3, okay? So you get the credit there for that. You're traveling 60 miles per hour. How long would it take to travel 740 kilometers? So we know that we have miles and we have kilometers, so that's a problem. So you either convert this to kilometers per hour and then use that to answer, or you turn this to miles and then figure out your time that way. But this is a rate. This is just a distance, right? So you got to be careful what you're doing here. I'm going to convert that. Let's go this route. I'm going to convert this to miles. So 740 kilometers. I'm going to say that 1 mile has 1.6093 kilometers. Cancel the kilometers. That gives you 459.83 miles exactly. You're going to get a mark for doing some sort of conversion. Okay? Then the next part is this. I will say that 60 miles in 1 hour, then I will be able to figure out how long will it take me to travel this many miles. Okay? That's my unknown in hours. Remember, you go to the side where the variable is, start with the number, cross multiply, then divide. This is not showing your work. This is just telling you what I do to solve this. So it's multiply times 1 divided by 60, and here's the answer. X is 7.6638 something hours. So if you wanted to just say 7.66 hours, that's fine. Okay? You're going to get 1 mark for conversion, 1 mark for setting up your proportion and actually solving. And so we're going to make this out of 2 only. And I will give you, how about this? I'll give you a bonus if you went hours and minutes, because some of you might have done that. So you get a +1, you get to redeem yourself. So we know when we look at this answer, we've got 7 hours, correct? And then there's something in minutes. There's 0.66 of an hour, right, that we need to turn into minutes. So I will actually use this part right here. I'll show you how to do this properly. You go 459.83 divided by 60, right? You get that on your screen. So 7 hours goes down. I'm going to go -7, take away 7. So there you have your decimal of an hour, right? And I just multiply that by 60. Okay, so I go multiply that by 60. That gives me 39.83, which is approximately 40 minutes. Right? So it's approximately 40 minutes. So that's how you turn the decimals to minutes if you wanted to get that answer. So you get a +1 bonus if you got that one right. All right, so what are we at in total? Follow my total here. So this is worth 2. And 3, that's 5. And 3, that is 8, 9, and 10. So this whole thing is out of 10. So what I'd like you to do is put a total out of 10 at the top. Make sure your first and last name is on there, because it's easier for me to find you on my spreadsheet if you go first and last name. And I know what you're thinking. I'm not sure about this one here. Is it 2.5 or is it 3 or is it 2 out of 3? I'm not gonna sweat that today. Okay, like I'm only gonna call you if you start going check marks everywhere, even though it's completely wrong. That's the only time I'm gonna call you. So you put a mark there that you think you got. You're the teacher at this point, and remember that it's not gonna make a huge difference whether you get that half a mark or you don't. But if it's really important to you, give yourself the half mark. Yes?
Can I have 2 questions? If you didn't get to a question, you just get 0 for it?
Today, yes.
Okay, and then if I didn't do the proportion part, but I just divided by 60 for the last question, does it still?
That's fine.
Okay.
That's part of work, yeah. Yeah, that's part of work.